Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast with your hosts Amal Thompson and Matt Avila.
Hello, guys.
Welcome back to episode 14, Teal and Steel. Today, we have to say sorry, Matt. You didn't get a chance to make it to the fantasy championship.
So
Yeah. 5 leagues, right?
4 leagues.
4 leagues.
I made the playoffs in 3 of them.
Yeah.
4 leagues, and I made the playoffs in 3 of them.
Bye week in how many?
I had 2 buys, and I lost every single one of them.
Feeling good.
But here's the thing, though, and we've talked about it. This is really my first year playing fantasy, so you know what? That's what I'm trying to think about. I drafted some good teams. I made some mistakes here and there. I learned some lessons that I'm going to bring with me next year, and that's all you really can do. And the fact that I was able to have a bye week on a couple of my teams, that's a win in my mind. You know what I mean? That's not too bad. So next year I'm gonna be even more knowledgeable. Hopefully, know more of the rookies and
rookies.
I think some of the big things I learned is get your wide receivers and don't sleep on the quarterback. Because both of my leagues, I did what you like to do and just tank the quarterback position. I like Russell Wilson and Davis Mills, bro. Like
that was curtains.
Yeah, so I had a great other side of the team, like wide receivers, running backs, and everything else. But this quarterback's held me back. So
I'm not going to stop the recording.
What's wrong?
But I see something hanging out that I think I have to change. I don't know if it's in the shot, but it looks like it's kind of in the shot. Is it in the shot? People tell me. Nah, it's not in the shot. Okay, we good. We're keeping it, though. One take on it.
But yeah, it was okay. Learned a lot of things. I'll be right next year. What about you? I know he's in like 20 leagues, so he's going to say I made like 1 or 2 of the championships. Congratulations. Yeah. You know that?
Yeah. You got to play your percentages. It's mathematical for me at this point. You put in a certain amount, and you hope that you create enough teams to kind of balance out what you put in. 2 paid finals, 1 free final, which that league was jokes. I sold Kyle Pitts for TJ Hawkinson in 4 first rounds, future picks. Because somebody wanted Kyle Pitts that bad.
Sheesh.
So I got 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026 first round picks.
It's free, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And then that person didn't make it to the finals.
Kyle Pitts.
But they did that for like so many like top players. Like guys just wanted the best players, but were giving away picks. I started giving away picks. My team is loaded in that one. I think I have Dalvin, Cook, Saquon, Alvin Kamara. Have a good quarterback. So I think I have Josh Allen.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a nice team. DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, something like that. But yeah, 7-7 and making it to the finals in that one.
Pretty solid.
And then the other 2 teams have Saquon and Christian McCaffrey at the running back spots.
That's a good...
To go to the finals.
That's a good duo.
Yeah. And one of them has Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, and Ramondre as my options for my 3rd running back.
That's a pretty good option.
But this was the same team we talked about last time where the wide receivers are lacking.
Where were they again?
Adam Thielen. Tyreek Hill.
That's not bad. So if you put Tyreek Hill and Adam Thielen, I can live with that.
Yeah. And then I have George Kittle, which is
now
a talking point. Back-to-back playoff games for the fantasy playoffs. Back-to-back 2 touchdown games. I think one game was 95 yards receiving. This one was over 100 yards receiving. Is Kittle back? The last podcast, the big talking point was tight ends are pretty much dead in fantasy. He was one of the ones that was like dead. And
it's tough to say because it's kind of an outlier situation. Your number 1 wide receiver is out. It opens up a lot more for a tight end. We all know what George Kittle is about. We all know what he's capable of. If the play calling goes towards him a lot more, this is going to be the result. So he's always a guy that you're going to want to have, even if he doesn't perform the way you think he is. He's a guy I probably would never sell because if one of those receivers comes out, George Kittle comes in, and even if they want to start targeting George Kittle, he could do these type of things. So this is why I said get yourself some tight ends, even if they do have bad weeks. If they have weeks like this right now, they could work out. And it's a position that there's not a lot of people in there. And George Kittle is definitely like in my top 5-6 range of people I would want to draft, even with the poor performance this whole year, because he showed up when it mattered the most. So
talking about tight ends as well. We mentioned the Evan Ingrams of the world last week. Boy, balled out again this
He
week.
did.
Massive. Going forward, as a Jags fan, I'm excited. But going forward in fantasy, where would you put Evan Ingram on your board, tight end wise, going into next year?
Top 10.
Really?
Top
Okay.
10.
Okay.
I think you said it last week. He was ranked 20th or 18th or something like that.
Had a big blow.
Had a big game, and he's now top 5.
Fourth? Yeah. So yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of he's the same situation as George Kittle, where it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of has some outlier games. If he can continue the stretch though till the end of the year, he's definitely a top 10 guy. He's a guy that I might even throw in that top 5-6 range because that offense is looking good. Trevor Lawrence is looking really good. Everything is really starting to click over there. And actually, you know what though? Calvin Ridley comes back next year.
I know.
So maybe Evan Ingram actually might go down on my list a little bit because there's going to be a lot of people to
target competition.
You got Evan Ingram, you got Christian Kirk, you got Zay Jones, Marvin Jones. He probably won't play next year.
I think he is going to.
I mean, it's like what 35.
Yeah, I think he's still playing. And then you got Travis Etienne,
So that's a lot of people to feed. And Calvin Ridley is when he was playing, I mean, he's a top 10 receiver. So.
That man's like going to be 29 next year.
He's not 29.
He's 28 right now.
How confident are you with that?
Very.
Okay.
Very. He's an old receiver.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, he's a guy that had a year off, so body-wise, I mean, he doesn't have a year of
that
football.
Wear and tear. It's just when I thought about it, though, because he hasn't been in Atlanta that long.
Are you sure he's 29? It feels like he was just playing
28,
Alabama.
He's 28 now.
I believe you, but I just need to see with my eyes because...
Yeah. He's 28 as of now. I think he'll be 29 next year. I don't know if he turned 28 recently. But yeah. He left Bama as like a senior.
Right. But he only has 4 years experience.
That's what I'm saying. It's like weird that he's that elevated in age. I was thinking I was getting, 26. I got excited. I was looking like, okay, next year we add all the young guns plus Calvin Ridley. And I was like, dang, he's a vet.
He is a vet. But I mean, I think he's 28 right now, but he's going on like 27, 26. So I know that might not be a huge difference, but in football years, I think that's pretty significant. So that's an extra season that I think you're going to get out of him. So he might be. I think he could play for a good 3-4 years.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's done. I'm just saying like it's a bit surprising.
It is, and now that I'm looking at that, it is kind of it doesn't suck, but I mean. To pair Trevor Lawrence with I don't think it's a bad. It's still a really good thing.
I would take Devontae Adams right now. That man's like elevated in age too. Like, just getting somebody who could get open, and again move people down the depth chart. I'm all about it. Makes me super excited for the future.
Yeah, so I mean, given the fact that he is coming back next year, Evan Ingram I guess isn't too high on my list. There's a lot of mouths to feed, but he's definitely a guy that you want on your team. So if you see him late in the rounds and he's available, and you don't feel too good about your tight end situation, it's the same thing as Kittle. If somebody gets hurt, somebody goes down, Evan Ingram can start stepping up. So,
Mark Andrews,
disappointing.
We talked about even if you had other options, you can't really bench Mark Andrews. You should have. The talent Huntley experiment isn't too friendly for
even when he was
Mark Andrews.
I mean, Mark Andrews' situation is kind of scary. It's kind of starting to get to the scary point because if Lamar doesn't come back and he goes somewhere else.
Well,
which I don't think he will.
I was about to say you could play that in two sides, though. What if they get a more traditional passer?
True, but I mean, they always seem to have a good connection, and that was his go-to guy. So we'll see. I mean, if Tyler Huntley's your starting quarterback, and their record is too good to really go get yourself a young gun that's really good, so you have to get yourself a vet. How many vets are really? I don't know.
Marcus Mariota looking for a job, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. His situation's starting to get a little iffy, and that the more the days go on, the more that trade that we made, I'm starting to be ecstatic about because Dawson Knox has performed better in the past 5 weeks.
He had a good playoff run so far too. Yeah,
he's done really well, and it makes me really happy to see that because I was worried about my tight end situation. If he can just somewhat stick to what he's doing right now, I'll take it. I'll be more than happy with that. So.
And then you got Ramondre, obviously, where you have decisions to make there. But I feel like if the Patriots don't add anyone, and I think they will subtract Damian Harris going forward.
I'm not too. I think he's very talented. Every time I watch him, I get impressed. So I'm not too worried about Stevenson. And then I also got what's his name, the receiver from Chicago,
Darnell Mooney, who should be back. It was an ankle injury, so.
Yeah, so we'll see about him. He's going to be paired up with Chase Claypool. I'm sure Chicago is probably going to go get Justin Fields a weapon. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But I think he's a good talent. I think he's a good flex guy, hopefully for the future. And I got a first round pick that got me hopefully my future wide receiver that I love, George Pickens. So it actually really works out for me.
High sell, yeah.
Which is it's something I'm really happy to see. I'm really happy to see because if Dawson Knox works out,
you won.
I feel like I've already kind of won the trade, but I'm pretty happy right now.
I want to shout out Cade Green, going to the finals of KickNPost Dino.
Is Cade versus who?
IMD Wavy.
Okay.
Pretty solid teams. IMD Wavy's team is Chubb, Eckler, Josh Allen. No, Patrick Mahomes. He got a solid starting lineup, and then Cade, whatever team Cade builds, he just ends up in finals. Because in another league we're in, he's going to the finals for like the third straight year. I think he's won the 2 prior years. He's trying to 3-3. It's a redraft league too. He just whatever teams he picks goes nuts.
I'm trying to be like you, my boy.
Yeah, I don't know how, bro, because I don't even think he really does research. He comes on draft day, picks his team.
I mean,
he blows everybody out.
It is kind of a luck thing. I mean, not everything is, but it kind of is in a way. You can never really tell when a player's going to do good. Everybody's going to think this.
Years, going on 3 years in the finals.
That's some good ass luck. But it's not just luck though. So I don't want to be disrespectful because I'm sure he picked up some good players on waivers. I'm sure he drafted some good players with a lot of things in mind. It's not just luck, but at the end of the day, it does determine a lot of luck, and it's gone his way.
That man has.
Like I said, I'm trying to be like you, my boy.
One day.
And look, I feel like I'm off to a good start. I mean, first year when I adopted a team, I made some bad mistakes, but I made it to. I had first week bye. This year, like I said, 4 leagues, 3 playoffs, 2 byes. I can't complain too much, and hopefully next year I walk away with a chip. So
I'm trying to get me 1 or 2 this year. I have 1 in a minute, but sticking on the theme of fantasy. What do you think you need to do with that KickNPost team? Now, I might get a little bit more editorial on this one. Mm-hmm. So if you want to check your team, I might throw your roster up. What are the moves you think you need to make to chase the chip in this dynasty league?
Well, one thing I've learned in my experience in fantasy football is learn to be more patient. I had a lot of and I've said this before. I said it last week, I think, where I had players on my team. I dropped them, moved them, and now they're blossoming. And I see other people succeeding with them. Luckily, it hasn't been anybody crazy yet. I mean, Jeff Wilson hurt a little bit, but he's back to kind of like a normal backup role behind Mostert. And I'd have to think about it a little bit more with some other people. But regardless, let me look at my team. It's just be patient. So I actually don't want to do too many moves. I'm pretty happy with my running back core. There's a lot of question marks though, like Ramondre Stevenson, Miles Sanders. I think Jonathan Taylor's gonna be fine. I'm not too worried about him. Who else? What do you move him?
Who you need to move now?
No, it was just Chase Edmonds was on IR, but he's not supposed to go on IR. I don't know. Everything's just gonna be. I have to just wait and see. Like I need to see what George Pickens becomes. I need to see what these quarterback situations are looking like. Jalen Hurts, I believe, has won that starting role, so I don't think I have to worry about him. I feel like I'm looking okay now on quarterbacks. I'm not out on Russell Wilson yet. I'm not out on Derek Carr. Derek Carr's making me a little nervous, but I think he's a starting quarterback, and he will always be like a top 15 guy.
He might be on a Colts next year. I just feel it. I just feel like he might be a Colt next year.
Matt Ryan is on my team. I don't love that. He might retire.
Yeah, but he might be a coach next year, like high school.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I've got 3 guys that are going to be starters for a little longer. So you don't think so with Derek Carr?
No, I think Derek Carr is definitely going to be a starter.
I'm thinking about for like next year or two, but
They might give him another chance to get a different coach out there. Maybe a Sean Payton. If they're willing to bite the bullet. And Sean Payton's the hot commodity right now in coaching. So I feel like he's
in Denver needs to get in that.
Yeah, I think Denver has the opportunity. They got rid of Hackett early. So I think, which we've been calling for that
early. We've been asking for that forever.
Week 1. I think the first episode of this podcast, we were like, fire Nathaniel Hackett. What was that? And you're like, it's week 1. It's week 13.
I mean, I agree. He should have been gone like 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks. But I mean, I don't. Just like Russell Wilson, I actually still believe in him.
Yeah, I think if you get the right coach.
I think you need a good. I think you need a good coach.
Yeah.
I think they need to get some help on the offensive line over there. I think they have the talent on the receivers. Me and you were talking about it earlier. I think Jerry Jeudy is starting to look a little bit more like Jerry Jeudy, like what he was supposed to be. He doesn't look as soft. He looks like he's actually trying to. He looks like he got a little bit of a dog in him, and I really like seeing that. And he looked like he got a lot of energy and passion instead of this like I'm fragile and I don't know what I'm doing. So you still think that he's still being that way.
A little bit, but
I think he's at least improving, and I think that's a good thing. I'm glad also that you see it now too, and I'm not just the crazy one.
Yeah.
Like what did you see that made you think? What made you go like, oh, he's onto something?
I just don't like the way he runs after catch. Honestly, I was watching the Nickelodeon broadcast, which can y'all stop?
I didn't watch it.
I can't do it. They have Patrick covering the plays. I can't. And then they got random VR things popping up on the screen, and they're sliming people in VR.
But it's Nickelodeon. Like, what are you expecting?
I don't
this
want
is for kids.
I'm here to watch.
You don't have
football.
to watch it. You can go watch the other channel.
They didn't have a separate.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Yeah, you didn't have to watch the Nickelodeon one. I watched the one with I think it was Tony Romo.
It, and that was the one they were showing, and I was highly annoyed.
No, I got to watch the regular one.
I should have changed over to the regular one. I didn't know it was an option.
So then you think that if there's another option, Nickelodeon is fine.
Yeah, if you guys give me another option, but I'm not going to sit down and hear y'all talk about eggnog and talk to Patrick and Nate Burleson's talking about how he's going to apply to work at the Krusty Krab. Stop. I'm here to watch football, bro.
That's for the kids, though. That's why they have that.
I guess. But I could guarantee if I was a kid, it's this and turn it off.
Hell no. I'd be like, no.
Exactly. If I'm here to watch SpongeBob, where's actual SpongeBob? I don't want to watch Russell Wilson throw 4 picks. I don't care about that as a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a horrible game.
It was bad. It was ugly.
But back on the roll of fantasy, Cam Akers.
He looked good.
Back from the dead.
He looked good.
I'm playing him in the final. Really? I'm putting him in my lineup in one of my finals.
He looked good.
But if you look at the last 4 weeks, he's been on kind of a tear. He's been looking better. I'm putting him in one of my.
That's good to see. When I was watching the game, I saw him like burst through the line. I was like,
he has the. This is the thing I said. I don't know why they were so out on him in the beginning. Like he looked a little bit sluggish and he was missing like spots. The man just came back. Just because he came back early last year, he got like little leeway to still be working himself back. Look at Dobbins, right? Same situation, but they give him actual leeway to work himself back. He still doesn't look healthy. They didn't give Cam Akers that kind of that opportunity because they had Darrell Henderson behind him. And they're like, all right, I guess if you're just not going to be good, we'll put him in. But they give this man the workload, and you see why he was like a second round running back now. Shifty, looks healthy. Has a nose for the end zone? I don't know. And he's on waivers in some dynasty leagues. People really quit on that man.
No, he looked good. Dynasty too.
That's what I'm saying.
I just saying a redraft, but like dynasty.
I know one camera just went off. I don't know which one it is, but we're gonna keep it rolling. Yeah, dynasty. And in one league, I was trading a second round pick for him, and I think it was an early second round pick, so we canceled the trade. I'm looking back now. I was like, probably should have kept that.
Yeah.
Probably should have kept that.
Probably should have. Yeah, he looked good. I mean, I saw him burst to the line, and I was like, wow. Like, that's what people were wanting to see. And that's not what we were seeing. The beginning of the year, every single game, he looked sluggish, didn't want to go through the hole, was getting tackled behind the line. It looked bad. And then now I see that, I'm like, Denver has a good defense. Even though nobody over there showed up.
Yeah, nobody did.
Nobody showed up on that defense.
Tyler Higbee was winning people playoff games if y'all had him in the starting lineup. Yeah.
Which actually is also kind of sad because if I would have had Tyler Higbee in my lineup, because I had Tyler Higbee to replace Dallas Goedert. Tyler Higbee hasn't been playing good.
So who did you put in?
So I put in, what's it called?
Henry?
Dallas Goedert. Because he's back healthy. And he had a fine game, 9 points. But fucking Tyler Higbee had like
25.
25, which if I'm not mistaken, that would have won my... Dang, now I'm just starting to process that. Dang.
You made a trade for him too.
I did.
Was it in black and yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, but I only gave up. Who did I give up?
Curtis Samuel. Yeah, which he had a good week too.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Let me look at that. No,
he caught a TD. Him and Terry had a good week.
Let me see that. Did he really?
Yeah. I mean, you catch a TD, it's already going to be a good week.
16.5. Well, I mean, if you catch only one touchdown, 7 points.
That's what I'm saying. If you catch a touchdown.
Well, regardless, if you got 16 points, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. At the time, I needed a tight end, and I liked the situation with Tyler Higbee, and there's nobody there else to throw the ball to. Didn't show up for 3 weeks. I had nothing else to base it off of. He didn't. Every time I watched the game, he didn't look like he was involved in the offense. I had no choice. So when Dallas Goedert was healthy, he was a top 5. He was the third tight end in fantasy football. So that's a tough decision to make. I mean, Tyler Higbee hasn't shown me anything. Dallas Goedert has shown me things.
You couldn't have planned for.
I can't plan for that.
You can't plan for a 50-point with a 50-point scoring outing with Baker Mayfield. It's behind
against the Broncos that has one of the best defenses. I couldn't just plan that. So it is what it is. If that's what destroys my league, whatever. But it is what it is.
Where do you have Cam Akers going into next year? Because obviously, like for a lot of our teams, it's kind of, but like, is he a point of acquisition for you? Maybe
I probably still want to go get him.
Okay.
If he fell, I think
like in a startup, obviously.
I think if what they were taking him this year, I think that's probably what people are going to start taking him again next year because now he's at least
he's
strong.
On the up.
He's on the uptrend and he's showing and he's looking good. So I can understand why people would take him fourth round. Third, fourth round, that's when people were taking him, right?
I don't think he's going to go third again, but yeah.
He was like a fourth round. I probably wouldn't take him fourth round. I don't even think I would take him fifth round. But if he was there in the sixth round, which I don't think he would be, but if he was there, I would 100% take him. I would have a decision to make if I was back end of fifth. If he was there, I'd be like,
Let's talk a little bit of strategy then, because we're going to do we already called it, we're going to do Teal and Steel Dynasty. What do you think is going to be your strategy going into next year?
I think it's important, and it's what I said last week. You got to have that guy a receiver.
That guy has failed people in the playoffs. This playoffs though.
But it's better not to have him at all. I mean, in order to get to the playoffs, you need to get there.
Yeah.
So
my team was built on that. Hurt.
It is, but where did you fail though? Quarterback. So if you would have
Dynasty though, it's hard to make that decision because they don't go late. A lot of times, if it's a super flex, you're deciding between getting your quarterback or waiting on receiver. And I did the pivot. I went the Diggs and Adams, and they combined for 20 points in both playoff games.
But you got there, and what really hurt you though was the trade you did with me.
Russell Wilson wouldn't have helped me.
He wouldn't have helped you. Ramon Stevenson actually didn't have a good game last game, so I guess not technically.
Russell Wilson wouldn't have helped me.
But it would have made it look. You'd be looking really good next year though.
Yeah. I would still have my first.
Yeah,
which my team would have probably won more games if I didn't do the deal. Because Mark Andrews didn't do anything for me when I got
Dawson Knox did more.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have been playing Dawson Knox like that anyway. But yeah.
But you'd be playing Ramon Stevenson. And this week he didn't do that well, but last week he had 26 points or something like that.
He was going bananas. But.
Yeah. So, I mean, strategy, it's tough to say, but it's definitely not going to be what I did this year. First things first, got to know the players. I got to know the situations. I got to know everybody on the board. I saw a lot of Chris Olave's, Garrett Wilson's, and I couldn't even put, like I said, put a face to those names. Now I'm seeing that, and I'm like, dang. Imagine if I had a Garrett Wilson or a Chris Olave right now. I'd be feeling nice. I'd be feeling really good.
I'm going to have to try to, I think, tear down. Because I need a quarterback. I think I'm going to have to try to go quarterback and a lower-end wide receiver for one of these high-end wide receivers I got.
I almost feel like, I don't know if it's dumb to do this, but I wonder if you can go, depending on where you are in the first round, you could go.
I don't have a first-round pick.
Well, I'm talking about, in a startup.
Oh, in a startup,
For Teal and Steel Dynasty, I'm almost thinking first round. Man, I feel like you should just get your quarterback. But it just depends on where you are. If you're the back end of the first and all these Josh Allen, Justin Herberts are gone, I wonder if Jalen Hurts will be available.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
I think he's going to be one of those first
guys. He's going to go top 5 in Dynasty now. Because he runs and he throws and he has A.J. Brown and he has Devontae Smith and he has Dallas Goedert. And then especially if the draft pans out like some mocks are showing, then he gets Bijan back there who catches the ball and runs.
Fuck Bijan. Sorry.
Look it up.
I don't care.
Look it up.
Don't care.
Look what this man looks like.
I will look it up. I will, because I will go into next year prepared.
Back-to-back weeks. boy phone popping. I tell you. Nah.
But anyway, I'm thinking like, okay, get yourself your quarterback. If you're in the back end of the first, then maybe you could go your favorite receiver, and then bam on that second round back. Then you can take your quarterback or take a run. I'm almost thinking like quarterback, running back, and receiver. Like get your guy that you like the most. Who do you believe in the most, and take them there. So at least you can go into a league with a quarterback that you really like. So you're not going to fall in the trap that like you fell into, where you didn't have a quarterback. You're not going to fall in the trap that I fell into, where I didn't have a good receiver. And then third round running back though is tough. So I think you'd have to go like a second round.
You just have to hit.
I think you got to take a running back second. So I think you either got to decide.
Kamara was a third. He failed a little bit this year, but Kamara was a third. Miles Sanders was a hit. He was like a fourth or fifth.
He wasn't for the fifth. Like I think I took him in like the seventh.
Yeah, so like you gotta hit, and I didn't miss on running backs. I don't think I missed on Elijah Mitchell. That tanked my team more, I think, than anything else.
Deontay Johnson was what really hurt my team.
Yeah,
Deontay was what really hurt my team. Who else?
If I review the draft, Deontay for you, Elijah Mitchell for me. Leonard Fournette, I won't really say. When he's played, it's been okay.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, he had a really good game last game, but I think next year it'll be tough.
If Brady's still there, I think it'll be okay.
But I think that's what you're gonna get out of him, though. It's just okay.
You know what's my move? Honestly, I want Rachaad White.
And KickNPost?
Yeah.
I think he's too expensive now.
I know, and IMD Wavy has him, and he doesn't really need him, and he's already in the chip. Yeah. I need.
You have a second that you could give up?
I have a second I could give
up. But would a second be good enough for Rachaad White at this point?
Probably not. Because he's already splitting the work. And if you have a belief that Leonard Fournette's going to be out soon,
it's going to be expensive.
But how long is... My selling point would be, how long is Brady going to play? Because Rachaad White benefits from having a Brady. If you get... Like, I've been moving Lamar everywhere. If you get Lamar 2024 in Tampa, Rachaad White loses half of his value.
True.
And I don't know how much of a runner between the tackles he is. So I don't know. I need to do something. I need to level down somewhere. I might be moving James Conner really quickly.
You know he's looked really good.
That's
another move that I think I wish I wouldn't have made.
But you got a quarterback.
I got Russell Wilson.
Quarterback's a currency. You believe in him. I could use him again just to...
I believe in his future, yeah.
Yeah, so like... That's what I would still undo because I went for the potential like, okay, I'll have Marcus Mariota still playing. Carson Wentz will come back. Everything will be fine. Both guys lost their jobs. Job security, I feel like, is probably what you should shoot for in quarterbacks too, by the way.
Yeah.
Not wavering. I thought Carson would be safe because, they just went out and acquired him and he got hurt and that's really, really what tanked it.
You know who you could probably get first round now? In like the 6th, 7th spot? In Dynasty? I don't know if you could. Could you get Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Because you got to think, you got Josh Allen.
I could get him in the second round.
Do you think you can get a second? Because that's to me is ideal. Let's say you're like the last pick of the draft, and you on that turn you take your receiver that you love, or you take a running back.
You like Trevor that much now, though?
I like his weapons. I like a lot, and I think I've seen a lot of good things about from him. Yeah.
I've seen a lot, but I mean, he lacks the.
He's a top 5 fantasy quarterback right now.
He lacks the no.
He is, like, ranked.
Well, right now, yeah, because of the last 6 games, he's... But, I mean, in terms of, like... He does have a little bit of dual threat to him.
We're talking about Dynasty right now.
Yeah, he's 23, 24.
He's 23. He has...
Job security.
He has weapons.
Doug Peterson, who's a good coach when it comes to quarterbacks.
So, he has a lot of things going for him. And I think that... I don't know if I'd take him first round, but if I could take him at that turn...
So who gets knocked out of the top 5 dynasty quarterbacks for you if you're gonna put him in the top 5 dynasty quarterbacks?
I'm not putting him in the top. Hold on. Let me do it. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar.
I was about to say, damn, Lamar got pushed down the list pretty far.
I'm not doing this in order. I'm just kind of talking. Am I missing anybody else?
How do you feel about Kyler?
You throw him in there
for fantasy.
Dynasty, yeah. That's the thing is like we're getting to that point where we have so many guys that you might be able to be like the 9th or 10th pick in the draft, and you might be able to walk away with one of these guys. Now the question is, would you take him? So you're gonna fall in the same trap. You can fall
I don't know.
Like, if you're telling me if you have, let's say you got Kyler Murray at the 10, would you take him?
Huh?
If you had Kyler Murray at the 10, would you take him?
I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, though.
I'm not either, but I mean, when he plays, fantasy-wise, he does good.
Yeah. I probably would have to. That's tough. I can't.
That's the thing, because I'm in the same boat as you. I don't love Kyler Murray. And I've passed up on him multiple times in drafts. Because people, I think a lot of people kind of passed him up a lot in this year's draft. But when he plays...
I need Deshaun Watson to keep sucking.
Why?
Because then his value's going to go down. And then he's somebody that could get
That's
his back
somebody
in
else
the
that we
second.
haven't even mentioned yet. He has the potential to be that 8th guy. Then you throw in Trevor Lawrence, you're looking at 9 guys.
You know who's on the rise?
Who?
Justin Fields. You haven't even mentioned the kid.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's what I say.
Justin Fields. That's
he
10
got to
guys.
1,000 rushing yards pretty much off the bat when they just started running him. First 6 games of the year, they weren't even using him as a running quarterback. But he got to 1,000 in like 12 games.
Would you take Justin Fields at the 11?
No. But that's because I don't trust his passing. He's running for 1,000, but he's also throwing for like barely 1,000.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like...
Because that's actually a good point. That's a good thing to talk about because this is something that we're going to all have to decide next year. Because next year. Yeah. Because this year we had what? We had like the top 5 guys. Like these were these guys. Everybody else was didn't matter. You took them later.
Dak was questionable. Kyler was in the mix.
Kyler, I think, was in that top 5-6 range.
Yeah.
And then you had your Dak Prescotts that were second, third rounders.
Jalen Hurts, second,
Jalen Hurts. Like you had a lot of Tom Brady and for Dynasty. When did he go? Like
late.
Probably late, right? I'd imagine Aaron went pretty late as well. But yeah, now we have almost like 5 extra guys that you can really realistically take. And you're gonna see them if you in your first round pick. Like you probably even see them in the 12th pick. If somebody goes, a Justin Jefferson because somebody is, someone's gonna take a running back.
How do you not take Justin Jefferson top 10 though?
Exactly. So you're gonna be in the position where you're gonna be at like that late part of the draft, and you're gonna be like, crap. Justin Fields is right here. Kyler Murray might be right here. Trevor Lawrence might be right here, and we're talking about dynasty. That's tough, man. Like, how do you pass that up? Because if you pass those guys up, what are you looking at after that? Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott. These guys are okay. Like, they're solid, but Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins is older. Derek Carr, we don't know. Tua might be retired. We don't know.
Bro, medically retired.
We don't know.
Oh, man.
So,
can we take a slight segue? What are we going to do, bro?
About Tua?
Yeah. Because I am physically uncomfortable about where we're at right now in this man's career. But the fantasy, which...
Yeah, we're talking about real life. We're talking about this man's actual health.
I feel like he would have been a solid guy in that range because if he has those weapons, you could put Matt back there to throw the ball.
Honestly, just give me a slant.
Just fling that thing out there, and you could probably get the 3,500 yards passing easy, right?
Sure.
What are we gonna do? I mean, both guys have like 1,500.
No, you're right.
It's not exaggeration.
No, you're right.
What are we gonna do with Buddy?
Tua's gonna drop. I mean, we'll have to see how he finishes this year, because people are talking about him being done for the year, and I don't know. Has anybody said anything yet?
No, but he needs to.
Like,
he's out this week, which hurts me because I have him in the championship game. I might have to play Daniel Jones, who's okay for fantasy. Besides the point, but. He's probably out this week. It's sounding like he's out this week.
I feel like he should be. I feel like now.
But
do you call it this year?
And they paid for Tyreek, and they see the opportunity to go to the playoffs and make some noise. So who's gonna clear this man when he should not be cleared to play? That's the real question.
I know I wouldn't clear him. And
here's where I'm at again. Lamar 2023. Lamar's from Miami. Lamar's not concussed. You're not asking him to do any serious reads or anything. There's some obvious language to the offense, but his deep ball, in my opinion, right now is stronger than Tua's.
Oh, Lamar can sling that thing.
He can let that thing go.
He can let it go. His accuracy is a little questionable.
The accuracy is questionable,
but he'll get it down there.
Yeah,
he'll get it down.
He'll get it down there. You give him. He had Hollywood Brown balling in his sophomore year. You give him Tyreek, I feel like Tyreek could get to a Lamar deep ball. no problem.
I mean, as a passer, I'd still take Tua over Lamar, but
he's a better technical passer.
But you're getting something else from Lamar. I don't know what you do with Tua.
It looks like the 49ers offense if you get Lamar. What they want to do with Trey Lance, put Lamar back there? God. And then they draft an actual running back this year, maybe?
That's somebody else. Like, where do you take Trey Lance?
I
don't know.
He might miss 1 or 2 games, but I'm right back. Brock Purdy's only showed me that like it was only a matter of time. In my opinion, if Brock Purdy could do this, like
what can Trey Lance do?
What can Trey Lance do? That's always gonna be the thing. He didn't get a chance to really like turn up. He didn't, so we can't.
I don't know. It's the quarterback situation next year. The more we're talking about it, is the more like.
Just know that if you take Trey Lance, take Brock Purdy, take Brock Purdy's backup, take all these people.
If you take a San Francisco quarterback, you might need to take the whole thing.
You might need to take the whole. You know, like how they say, get your handcuff, get your quarterback handcuff for the 49ers. Nah, I don't know.
It's definitely gonna be interesting because we don't know what Tua yet. I mean, we'll know more by the end of the year. We'll know more before the preseason.
We know his brain is mashed potatoes. That's what we know.
Why you sound like a country boy when you said that?
Because that's how he gonna talk. He's Hawaiian, but he gonna sound like that after all these concussions, bro.
I hope he's doing good. I hope he's all right.
He's third for the year. Third confirmed for the year. Let's not discount the fact that it's probably been more than 3. He's on his 3rd confirmed for the year.
And this is for the year.
And he had back-to-back concussions in 4 days.
And I know he had a couple, I think, last year, didn't he?
I think so.
I think he had some. I know he had some in Alabama, like high school. I don't know.
Can he even speak anymore? I haven't seen him on the podium in a minute, bro.
He's not that down bad. He's not that down. But we'll definitely have to see, man, because I don't know. I mean, Tua's a guy that I don't even know if I'm not taking him in any fantasy.
Really?
I don't know.
You're done on Tua?
I'm done on Tua right now. Until I hear something else, and even then, like, why take a guy that is concussion? We're having this conversation. Why take a guy with that kind of risk? Unless I'm getting him.
Drew Brees was in that discussion when he was playing for the Chargers.
Oh, really?
That he might have to medically retire, and that's why they sent him out to New Orleans. And
look what happened to him.
Look there.
I mean, if I can get him at a huge discount, maybe sure. If I find him somehow at like what range do you think would be like absurd? Or
8th round, 7th
if I can
round,
find him,
he's not gonna drop that far.
If I do find him down there, sure. If I find him at the 7th, 6th round,
so elite.
If I see him in the 6th, 7th round, I'll think about taking him, but I'm probably not going to take him in the top 5 pick because I know I can get so much more. What did we just talk about? Job security. What is this risking? Job security. So that's another thing I've learned is if we're having questions, it's fine to take them and take a risk, and that's fine. But if you have a Tua and you have I don't know, where do you think would not Trey Lance wouldn't fall that far? Trey Lance. Well, who would you take?
Trey Lance. In Dynasty, Trey Lance. Take
the Trey Lance.
Give me the possible cheat code.
Because those are both those are both kind of like the risky guys that you're looking at right now. You haven't seen a lot of Trey Lance. He's been hurt. Tua, like I said, might be medically retired. Who would I take out of the two? I'm gonna take Trey Lance. So.
Have you looked at any of the incoming QBs yet?
I know, like Bryce Young, he's doing pretty good. Like I like him for Houston.
That would be fun. There's another quarterbacking spot that's for sure going to open up.
Carolina?
Well, that too. Well, the Jets.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we've spoken about it, but Zach Wilson, I'm completely out on him.
Guess what? So are the Jets.
I'm completely out of. I don't care if he gets moved to the Colts.
Did you care?
I don't care.
He's not even the 3rd string this week.
Good.
He's done. They said that his time in New York is most likely done.
I don't like how he holds himself together. I don't like how he talks to the media. I don't like how he plays. I don't like how. What?
I like how much he sucks. Got me 6 for 6 on that Prize Picks.
Oh yeah, he got the under.
I did the under.
I'm also I don't like no unders, but for Zach Wilson,
less. I took less on so many of his lines, expecting him to get benched, and lo and behold, but you have to put in some. What's the guy's name? Chris.
I don't even know.
He got benched.
He looked like a tight end.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like a tight end.
When he got benched, I was celebrating. I was like, "It's lit. I just won. I just turned out $5 into $125.
No, yeah, Zach Wilson is completely out in my book. I don't care where he gets sent to.
He's probably going to be a Carolina
I
quarterback.
don't care if he goes to Carolina. I don't care if he goes to the Colts and they tell him, "Oh, Zach Wilson has won the starting job." I do not care. I am not drafting him. I don't want him on my team. I am good.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit hesitant on the kid as a prospect. And then he tore UCF a new one in the bowl game. And I was like, maybe this guy's good.
I was a little high on him in the draft. I wasn't high on him, but I liked him as my third quarterback. Because I was taking, like, in these redrafts, I took him as my third guy. I liked him there. I no longer like him there. I would rather him be the third string on a team.
At this point, you could just get Taysom Hill and right out those.
Yeah, I would rather do that.
Tweets,
I would rather do that, bro.
I'm
out on Zach Wilson. We didn't even talk about it. Like, where would we even take Kenny Pickett? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think it's even good to judge.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because
he's a Davis Mills type right now. In terms of like where he'd go in drafts, people were just like kind of secure. I mean, Davis Mills, even though had bigger games last year, but kind of.
Davis Mills has been, in my opinion, really disappointing this year. Last year, he's shown a lot of signs. This year, and to be fair, Brandon Cooks has been pretty in and out.
The whole offense has been kind of.
It's been bad. So
yeah.
They have a good defense, though. I don't know if you noticed, but they have.
No, I've talked about it. They are a bad matchup for opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do. They go out there and they show up. I don't know where to take Kenny next year, if I'm being honest, because it's hard to say. I think he has job security.
Yeah.
But he's also on his second concussion this year too. I don't know if you've noticed that. He has 2 concussions. But
was he? I don't even want to do it.
No,
don't do it. But was he?
But no, he wasn't that bad.
Was he?
Yeah, I don't know where to take Kenny. I mean, obviously, I'm probably going to be a little higher on him than a lot of other people. But it's hard to say when you have a bad offensive line. But you do have weapons. And we should be fixing the bad offensive line. I saw a mock draft, and I saw us take like a freaking like corner, which I understand. I agree. The corner position, we do need to address a little bit. But F that. I don't care.
Get me a lineman.
Give me an old lineman.
Give me a lineman, please.
No, I don't care who. No, we gotta take an old lineman. But anyways, I don't know who to take Kenny. I maybe third, fourth. I don't know.
You are wilding.
Where do you take it? I don't know.
Wait. That's a guy you could wait on.
Yeah, okay.
He goes in the Kirk.
I wouldn't take him though. That's the thing is I wouldn't take him. And if we had a Teal, I don't care if he's like in the.
You don't think he's able to hold a job?
No, I think he would. It's the same thing with Davis Mills. Like I don't.
But that's not what you should be saying. They invested the 20th pick in the draft in him. Davis Mills.
No, I get that. I'm not saying. What have I told you before? I like seeing it first.
I know, but
I like seeing it.
We also said job security.
If I have nothing to base it off of, just a mediocre year, he's a rookie, so I'm not going to hold him too accountable. Until I see him sort of blossoming, I just don't know if I want to take it. Now, if he's like my third quarterback that I take in the draft, maybe, sure. You know, if he falls that far, I don't know exactly where a rookie quarterback of his stature lands. He's not even a rookie anymore. It's his first year. I just don't know. Where did Davis Mills get taken this year? Is it because that's like you said? So maybe back like if he's back end, sure. I'll throw him on my team if I see him available. Then sure. But
Zach Wilson was lower too.
Okay.
Trevor was fairly lower. Justin Fields was fairly lower.
Okay, so maybe I would go with the Kenny Pickett a little bit later, but until I see something crazy, I'm not gonna take him any high.
It might be better to stay away from it too because your bias will kind of play in sometimes. Either way.
Bias?
Your bias, yeah. Bias to the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably stay away from Pickett. These rookie quarterbacks coming in, I know you don't know much about their prospects, but what's the highest you would take either of them?
Is it Bryce Young and Cedar Stroud?
Those are the big two.
Those are the two.
Obviously, Will Levis is out there too for Kentucky. He's been showing out with the throws on social media, but I don't know how to feel about him. I don't like the college production. I also don't like the team he was playing for, though. Kentucky doesn't strike me as a team to build their quarterbacks up. And also you got Anthony Richardson out of Florida, who's also been making noise. He keeps getting mocked in the top 10. And I will say it right now. Any team who takes Anthony Richardson in the top 10, any team in the NFL who takes Anthony Richardson in the top 10, they should send y'all to the XFL. That man is not a top 10 prospect quarterback. If y'all hated Malik Willis, If Kenny Pickett wasn't even a top 10 pick, y'all gonna take Anthony Richardson top 10 because he's Lamar 2.0? Stop it. Stop it.
I think the only one I'd be interested in is like Bryce Young. As of right now.
How early? Like we're in the
Where
you drop him into the pool right now. He gets taken to Houston. Where do you go?
This is the issue, and this is where my inexperience like falls because I don't have a number. That's why when I said Kenny Pickett third, fourth, and that was kind of crazy. It's because I have no idea.
I'm just saying. I'm not even giving you numbers. I'm saying which quarterbacks does he jump in the line from the start? Not saying round. If you had Kenny Pickett or Derek Carr, not Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young or Derek Carr, who are you taking?
Bryce Young.
Okay, so we kind of set a baseline. Bryce Young or Ryan Tannehill?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young or Kirk Cousins?
And that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at. It's like because Kirk Cousins has his benefits. He's older. Bryce Young is obviously younger. Bryce Young probably has the higher ceiling, but Kirk Cousins also has Justin Jefferson. So that's probably where I'm at.
See that? So that's what I'm saying, right? Or like if Bryce Young lands in New York with Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore,
If he lands in New York, I probably would take him over.
See, so it's all about landing spot.
Because of the potential. Houston is a scary place to land because there's nothing much there. Brandon Cooks is we don't really know. He wanted out. I'm sure he's not going to be on the Houston Texans next year. Past that, who's the guy that has cancer on IR? What's his name? Maybe he'll be back. I don't know.
Buddy who played for Alabama. It's slipping my mind right now.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the other Alabama receiver that came out.
Maybe he'll be good to go. I don't know.
It's projected he'll be.
But so we'll have to see. So I mean, if Bryce Young, he's gonna get taken by Houston. I mean, if Houston skips on Bryce Young,
what if Oakland takes Bryce Young?
Who has the first pick of the draft?
Right now, it's Houston. They
just there's no way anything's gonna get changed unless someone pays to go to the first. But that's gonna be a heavy price tag.
Oakland could do it.
Who would they?
Actually, they don't have their. I think they're still hurting from the Khalil Mack trade.
I feel like they still
no,
because they gave away. They sold Khalil Mack.
No, but they used all those picks. I think my bad
to get him, and then they sold him, and they didn't get him.
No,
back.
they used all those picks since they sold him. Like I thought they still had him treasure trove, but they took guys like Alex Leatherwood and Henry Ruggs and this other DB.
And they also paid for Devontae Adams, which I'm sure costed a first round pick. So
I don't even remember if they gave up a pick.
I'm sure they gave him something.
I don't remember because I think he was a free agent.
Really?
He walked.
Okay, that's the case, and that's dope.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see because like
they could move Derek Carr.
This is gonna be a very interesting quarterback. I've never been a part of a lot of other ones, but this one just seems very interesting, and I'll have to do some research.
The thing is, there's not that many spots. I think Atlanta could still be looking for their quarterback in the future. Desmond Ridder has seemed to be cheeks. I was saying that before.
Yeah.
So
he hasn't played. I haven't really paid attention.
He hasn't really played well yet. No. Tennessee has Malik Willis. They didn't invest that highly in him though.
Yeah.
So if they see their quarterback in the future still on the board, they'll take that stab at it.
That's the thing though, is like if it's other than these two guys, maybe Will Levis.
I'm not even really that high on Will Levis, but where he could end up going in drafts, I might be willing to take the risk. Like I say all the time, if it's a super flex league,
quarterbacks are currency.
Quarterbacks are currency. So save them boys up. I'm in the finals right now in one league because I had excess of quarterbacks and somebody paid me to get some. So save them boys up. Just load up the taxi squad with all the quarterbacks you could get. You never know.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be interesting next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
The strategy is gonna be interesting because, like I said, you got like 10 guys that you can realistically take in a dynasty league.
We're gonna have to start doing mocks. I think that would be a good step for the.
When does it like start activating where you could
do mocks?
Yeah.
When the season ends and they start the 2023 season.
So they'll have like a Bryce Young right after the season ends.
Yeah.
That mix in there.
Yeah, in Dynasty, you could mock rookie drafts once everybody declares. Probably like a month after the league ends.
Okay.
They probably will do that, or they'll just have you have mocks with all the college guys who technically could declare, and then it would clean up once guys start going back to school or whatever the case is. So
yeah.
And then, of course, mocks before the draft, though, are very different than mocks after the NFL draft. So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see because the strategy is gonna be interesting. I mean, obviously, I can't do the same thing I've done, even though I don't want to change it too much because I was somewhat successful, but just a couple pieces, swap them out. Mike Evans has been disappointing. Should not say I took him in too many leagues.
I told you I wasn't a big fan of
You did.
Mike. And he's been the model of consistency, but his
And that's why I
production
took
last
him.
year was very loaded on 1 yard touchdowns. Like red zone, and I didn't know what the offense would look like this year.
That's why I took him. I like consistency, and I thought he would bring that to my team, and he didn't. So he brought inconsistency.
Back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I think that's a good stopping point for the fantasy one.
Yeah.
To all y'all playing in the fantasy championship, good
Good
luck.
luck.
Hopefully, you guys can bring home some bread going into the new year. For all y'all that didn't make it, back to the drawing board. In Dynasty, it doesn't stop. Start scouting those rookies. Start looking at those guys who didn't really produce in their first year, or might have underproduced in their second year. Guys like Elijah Moore, I will be targeting heftily. He's going to be one of those wide receiver guys that try to sneak out from under people, because I feel like the future is bright once they get a good quarterback in there. I think
so you do like Elijah Moore.
I love Elijah Moore. I just thought that Garrett Wilson was a better prospect. That has shown itself. Also, the quarterback situation has been pretty bad. But I love Elijah Moore. It's just, where can I get Elijah Moore? Now, I feel like it's a good buying spot. I could get Elijah Moore for a good price. Treylon Burks. Injury is more his reason why he's kind of been shaky, but when he's played, he's looked good. Try to sneak him from people going into the next year. Let me see what else I can think about off the top of my head real quick before we go.
I don't know if you could, but JT maybe.
That's still tough.
I think you still get it for a discount, but
it's gonna be like a Saquon type discount, but not as discounted as Saquon last year, because Saquon had multiple years of injury history. This is just one.
Kamara.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to buy Kamara unless I'm like on a team that's like ready to go. I don't know if I'm looking to buy him.
Yeah,
but to level down from like a Stephon Diggs or a Devontae Adams to maybe like a Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, and quarterback.
I also think Russell Wilson. Like I said, I'm not out on him yet. So
that's a person to target in the offseason as well. If he gets Sean Payton, he's back to the moon. That dude's an offensive guru. I didn't think Nathaniel Hackett was really like that. I think he was kind of a farce. So yeah, we're gonna target guys who underperformed, and hopefully in these championship matchups take home the dub. But yeah, until next time, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.